Original versus definitive. Which version is better when completing the mission? Spilling the beans. In this mission you enter your newly purchased business and talk to Ernest, share some stories and you get an idea, travel to the Malibu Club and talk to Kent Paul, travel to the ship on the mainland, infiltrate it while wasting a huge number of people, again talk to the guy and escape from the ship, and finally return back to Printworks. We'll compare tasks, execution, speedrun tactics and gameplay. Both games are vanilla, played on PC. My name is BadInfo, so leave a like and subscribe for more comparison videos. Now let's see how Spilling the Beans compares between both versions. Alright, I never noticed this before, but in the original, two of the walls have no texture, it's just blank. Luckily the definitive fixed them by copying the other wall, now it's symmetrical and looks great. The same can be said about the garage door, it doesn't even look like one in the original, but in the definitive, it's very obvious what it is. Apart from that, pretty much everything else in the room is the exact same between both versions. You know what's not the same? How tall Ernest is. The top of his head barely reaches the bottom of Tommy's head, but in the definitive he's a few centimeters taller. Alright, let's get out. Now the game gives you a taxi you can use to travel quickly. In the original the driver is always a cab driver, as it should be. In the definitive the NPC can be any random pedestrian, even one which can't see past the windshield. Now for the club. As many of you know, I certainly do, because whenever I play this cutscene for a video, I get a copyright claim every single time. The music, which plays in the background, is from Michael Jackson. Well, since many songs were removed from the definitive, we get a different, worse song, unfortunately, which actually pretty much completely changes the vibe of this cutscene, but I guess it's not that bad. Here the girl looks weird, but there's nothing new here, this is the definitive edition, everybody looks weird. Even the ass on that is not as curvy, still nice, but not as round as it is in the original. When Tommy manhandles Kent, you see how incredibly twisted his arm becomes. In the definitive it still twists, but it's not as bad as it is in the original. Lastly, here the atmosphere in the definitive is amazing, all the colors, reflections and whatnot, a really great vibe. The original is cool too, but not as good. Alright, now on to the ship. This is one of the most difficult missions in the game if you decide to take your time. That's because the people infinitely spawn. Trust me, I've played OHKO before, where the slower, the better. Well, not here. You have barely any protection, no health, no armor, and you have to go up and down the ship, on the way wasting 20 plus enemies sometimes. In the definitive, armor was added to the very top of where you need to go. Now, when GTA San Andreas adds useless armor like this one in Burning Desire, I get angry and call the game out for it. Here though, I feel like this mission needs an armor spawn. Either stop the NPCs from infinitely spawning or add armor. Since they'll still spawn forever, the armor addition was great. And that's it guys, no more differences until the end of the mission. In the speedrun, if you want, you can use a helicopter throughout. This way you can land at the very top and bypass all the people. The game does not penalize you for it in both versions. The way down is via a jump. Again, this skips the ship portion entirely. Jumping off is a bit more difficult for me in the definitive because of the camera position, but it's still possible in both. Overall, I would say that the definitive is better for spilling the beans. The visuals in Printworks, the Malibu, the armor pickup, all great changes and additions in my opinion. Agree or disagree, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and a very special thank you to my top channel members and patrons: Monish Pradeep, Alex Chavez, Max Robinson, Max Rich, LMP Racing, House the Chowder, Case Knight, Smokio and everybody else on the screen. Become a supporter today.